Hi everyone, welcome to today's video, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you the principles of coding in Scratch so that way I can take you guys from being beginners at coding and not knowing what you're doing to being professional level software engineers. Okay, so in today's video we're going to go over the three basics of coding. We're going to go over sequencing, we're going to go over loops, and we're going to go over conditionals. If you have those, you can make almost anything. So first of all, we're going to start with sequencing. Now, you may be wondering, what is sequencing? Well, in here, we have an example for you guys. So when I press the green, here, let me change the backdrop. Now, an analogy I like to use is making a sandwich. If you were to tell a robot to make a sandwich, just think about what you would say for a second. Would you tell it to, oh, we'll put ham on bread, right? Well, the robot doesn't know where the bread is, so you have to say first, pull bread out of the pantry, take the bread out of the package, put the bread on the plate, put the ham on the bread that's on the plate, and then so on and so forth. Robots don't have, or not robots, programs don't have brains like we do. They can't think, oh, well, he probably means this, he probably means that. No, they only follow very specific instructions that you give them. So I built this example here to show you guys. Right here, we have when green flag is clicked, and we have three blocks. I just named them so it'd be very simple for you guys to think about. So right here, we have grab bread. See, it grabs bread. Right here, we have grab ham. It puts ham on the bread. And here we have grab lettuce, puts lettuce on the bread. And then right here, we have finish sandwich. It's a very basic breakdown of what you need to do. So the reason these show up like that is because you're telling the program in that order to put them on. So if I put them all together like that and press the green flag, they all show up correct. Now, but if I change the order, like let's say, oh, well, let's tell the program, okay, grab lettuce first, and then grab ham, and then grab bread, and then grab the other bread and finish the sandwich. Our sandwich just looks completely wrong. Now let's try the other way. Let's grab, oh, okay, grab both the breads. Uh, just like that. And our sandwich is completely messed up. That is what sequencing is. It's you telling the program in order exactly what to do. For example, over here, I have a game I made previously. Uh, don't mind all the long code. I'm just going to ignore that and go up to here. We're here when we receive a broadcast, which is like an event. Uh, it's going to change the rotation style first, and then it's going to point in the direction I want it to. It's sequencing. It's going to go from the top down in that exact order. So make sure you have your code in the correct order, like grabbing bread, then grabbing lettuce, then finishing the sandwich. That is a very basic fundamental of programming. You need to be very specific with your instructions. You need to tell it to take the bread out of the package, and you need to tell it to put it on the plate. You need to tell it to take the ham out of the package and put it on the plate. You need to be very specific, okay? Now, in programming, there's these things called functions. In Scratch, they're called my blocks, and these act as functions, okay? If you guys want to learn more about functions, let me know in the comments, and I will actually make a video on those, okay? Now, I have a more fun example, okay? So, change the backdrop back to this. You guys are actually going to like this example. Right here, we have variables. If you need to know more about variables, I have a whole video. It's called How to Stop Using Variables Wrong or something along those lines. Go check out the channel. So we have a function right here where you can jump, and then where we change the velocity to where he moves, right? Let's reset it, where he moves. So over here, I have an example of sequencing. If we have it to where he jumps first and then he moves forward, he's just going to fall in the ditch. But if we have it where he jumps and then moves forward, he makes it over. Or even if you, maybe this is a little bit of a bad example, but if you have the moving forward first and then the jump, he still makes it. Or, you know, you could just do nothing but jumps and the program won't do what you want it to do. It won't get over this little ledge right there. See, he'll just jump. Let's do a double jump, and then let's just do a normal jump. So that is exactly what you don't want to do. Down here I have platformer logic. If you guys want a video on platformer logic, leave a comment below and I'll teach you guys how to make a platformer in Scratch. Once again, this is a function. You do this by, this is a function, and make you make a block and then you write stuff under it. If you want a video on functions, let me know. I will make one. Okay, so there we go. We have those functions right there, those blocks. Now let me show you guys something else. Now we're going to talk about loops. To start loops, I'm going to actually just make this guy right here. Let's go put him 0, 0. Okay, perfect. So if I wanted to do this, if I wanted him to move like 20 steps, I know it says move 10 steps and I can change that, but I'm not gonna for this example because you're gonna need it. If I wanted him to move a bunch of steps like that, if I wanted him to move 60, I'd have to do that, right? And if I wanted him to move more and more, I would have to do that, right? So this right here is obsolete. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks that move the little purple guy forward, right? So we can just grab a repeat, and this is a loop right here. Repeat, that's a loop. We can grab that and we can move this in here. And now, if I put this to 6 or 8 because we had 8 blocks earlier, oops. If I move this to 8 because we had 8 of those blocks earlier, and put this in there, he's going to move the same distance in less time. Or not in less time, but in less blocks. It's way better to keep and make your code way more efficient by doing this, or by it's better to make your code more efficient by using blocks like this, by repeating. And this goes for every single coding language. You always want to make your code as efficient as possible because you don't want to be, making a game to where it takes 10 minutes to open up and load everything each time. No one's going to play that game. No one's going to want to wait that long. Or you can do repeats and you can make your code run way more efficiently like that. So now there are a ton of different loops. There is the repeat loop, there is a forever loop, and then there's a repeat until. Now, repeat loops, this is your basic for loop in what's it called? In every language, this is going to be your for loop. This is going to run a certain amount of time. So no matter what, it's going to run 10 times. If I change it to 5, no matter what, it's going to run 5 times. This is going to run only that long. This is a forever loop. Whatever's in here, when the green flag is clicked or whatever thing goes on top is activated, anything in there is just going to keep looping forever and ever. Like if I put a turn 15 degrees, he's going to turn forever. Now, if I remove that, and have him walk 10, he's going to walk forever and ever, no matter where I put him. That is what that loop does. You can't stop it. That will keep looping forever. And remember, loops will start at the top, and then once they finish, they'll just go back to the front. So he's going to go to a random position, go to that one, and then he's going to glide to a random position until this gets set forever. But now we have a repeat until. Now in your normal coding languages, this is a while loop. What a while loop does is it's going to repeat this whole block while something is true, or in this case, while something isn't true. Now we're going to touch on this later, but we're going to touch on this later, and it's going to be conditionals. So while true equals true, it's going to be true. Or you know what? Let's just grab my variable. Let's put my variable in there, and let's set it to 1. If you guys remember, if you guys want a video on variables, I will show you guys. So now, my variable is set to 1. We can see up here. And my variable equals 1. It's going to repeat this loop until my variable equals 1. So, theoretically, this loop shouldn't even start. Or it's going to run once and then be done. See? Actually, it's not even going to run. But if my loop is 2, or if my variable is 2, sorry, I didn't set it. Now this is going to say, forever. But look, when we live change this to 1, it's done thinking. You see this stops. He still says because it says it forever. So actually let me change this to think it for 0.1 seconds, and he's just going to keep saying, he's going to keep thinking forever, and that's going to help make this example look better. So run that. He's going to think that, but now if we set this to 1, he stops thinking immediately. Set this back to 2, and now it's set to 2, but we have to restart this, and he's going to think it again until we set it back to 1. So this type of loop is going to repeat until your condition is met. And that brings me to this next part, conditionals. So if we go to operators, we have these right here, and then we have and, or, and not. So these up here, you guys can tell, are your basic maths. So I will help explain this by using my variable once again. So we set my variable to 1. Right here is 1. Now, what this does is it looks, is my variable, which is set to 1, is 1 greater than 50? No, so it's going to return false. So now we move my variable to here. Is my variable less than 50? Yes, it should, because it's 1. 1 is less than 50. True. Now, is my variable exactly 50? No, it's 1. That's what that does. Now, what not does, you see how this is false? Not is going to turn that to true. Once again, you see how this is true? Not is going to turn that to false. Not does the inverse of what you want it to do. Or, so we'll get this. So we know this is false and we know this is true. So if we put or there, it's going to see, okay, is my variable greater than 50? Well, it's not greater than 50, but is it less than 50? Yes. So since it's or, it's going to choose, okay, this one's false, but this one's true, so it's going to be true. And or means only one has to be true for the whole thing to be true. Okay? Now this one, and, it's the opposite. Everything has to be true for it to be true. See how this one's false and this one's true? It's going to be false because an and means they both have to be true, and or means only one. And that's the basics of conditionals. So with those, you can make anything. See over here, wait until, and then here's a conditional right here. That's false right now, so it's going to wait until that's true, and then that's going to continue. Or here's another conditional, if, and if it's touching the mouse pointer, which is a Scratch, not really a Scratch exclusive, you're only going to see that mainly in Scratch though. Once again, we probably have some more, right here, another conditional. If tutorial is true, then it's going to run this, otherwise it's going to run whatever else. There is conditionals in every game you play, okay? So that is the basic fundamentals of coding. Sequencing, making sure to put everything in the right order and be as specific as possible. There's loops, which is repeat forever and repeat until. There are conditionals, which is in the operators, and then also using variables. And there's also other conditionals like touching and, touching where if this block is touching, like, let's say, oh, right here, if the cat is touching the floor, right? If the cat is touching the floor, that's a conditional. If this key is pressed, that's a conditional. If touching the color, if this color is touching that color, those are conditionals. If the mouse is down, those are all conditionals. So you can hop in Scratch and you can tinker with all this and you can see for yourself, okay, I think I understand. Because the best way to learn is to put hands-on experience. Okay, so use what I learned, and you know what? Try to go watch another one of my tutorials, and as you watch, look for these principles of programming inside those tutorials, because eventually you'll get so good that these principles come naturally to you, you won't even have to think about it. Now remember, uh, if you want a video teaching you guys how to use my blocks, or a video teaching you guys variables, I actually have that up already. So just let me know in the comments what type of videos you guys would like to see, and I will happily upload them. All right. Thank you guys for watching as far as you did. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more videos, and I'll catch you guys later.